Welcome to the Movie Zone. Today we are recapping the 2010 fantasy adventure movie, The Last Airbender. An adaptation of the well-acclaimed and beloved show, the movie portrays the invasion of the Water Tribe by the Fire Nation. Some say it didn't live up to its potential, or did it? You decide. As usual, spoilers ahead, so be ready. Let's begin. Thousands of years ago, all was right in the world. There were 4 nations with people that could bend the natural elements to their will: fire, earth, water, and air. An avatar was born amongst them who could bend all these elements. He was the one meant to maintain peace and order in the world. 100 years ago, however, the avatar just disappeared. In the absence of the avatar, the Fire Nation had attacked the whole world and created an empire that banned any bending of elements. But there were still some tribes where this ancient art remained. The movie begins in the Southern Water Tribe, with Sokka and his sister Katara heading in search of food. Their father is off fighting in the war against the Fire Nation, while the children are left back to look after the old. Sokka, despite his looks, is quite the poor hunter, and gets both of them lost often. His sister's a novice waterbender and is still working on her skills. Sokka and Katara find themselves lost as always, above a frozen lake. Sokka notices a glowing light under the lake and tries to pry an opening. The lake, however, starts to crack and soon a sphere emerges from inside the frozen lake. Katara, despite her brother's warning, strikes the spear with Sokka's boomerang. A beam of light appears and pushes her away from the spear. Soon, the sphere disappears, and from within appears a huge yak-like creature and a boy who appears to be alive still. The siblings approach him and ask the boy, who has a weird tattoo on his head, his name and his purpose in the Southern Tribe territory. The boy doesn't say anything. He appears to be exhausted. The yak is alive and well as well. Sokka made sure of it. They decide to take the boy back to the tribe. The yak can stay behind. From afar, a Fire Nation ship notices the light emitted by the sphere from earlier and heads towards it. Back at the tribe, Katara notices that the boy had tattoos all over his body, shaped like an arrow. She asks her how he had come there, and he simply replies that he had run away from home and his ship had crashed. Just then, the Fire Nation warriors from earlier arrive in search of something. They are being led by Prince Zuko, the heir to the throne. He orders his soldiers to search every single tent, and soon they find the boy. As a fan of the Avatar series, this feels so weird. The boy is brought to the prince, who recognizes him as an airbender. He tells him that if he doesn't comply and come with him to his ship, the firebenders will kill all the members of the tribe and burn it down. The boy complies and is taken away. Katara cannot shake the feeling of guilt of having let the Fire Nation army take away the boy so easily like every other bender from their village. She convinces Sokka that since they were the ones who found him, he was their responsibility. The siblings consult their grandmother about what they should do, and she tells them that it appears that the boy was their destiny. She reveals one of the few scrolls that were not destroyed, and tells them about the Avatar, and how the Avatar could communicate with the spirit world that guided and protected their whole existence. She believes that the boy is the Avatar, since the last Avatar was supposed to be an airbender. The boy had airbending tattoos. This made their mission even more clear and important. Elsewhere in the ship, the boy is confronted by Commander Iroh, Prince Zuko's uncle and the prince. They tell him that if he takes a test, he will be free to go. The prince then lights a candle, pours water in front of him, and places a rock nearby. The fire grows larger. The water takes form, and the earth waves in the air. They confirm that this boy is in fact the Avatar and the one that Prince Zuko had been looking for. The boy tries to leave, but the uncle and nephew stop him. If he failed the test like the others they had captured, he could have left. But since he had passed his test, they could not let him leave. Being left with no choice, the boy uses his airbending skills to outwit the two and escape to the deck of the ship. There, he uses a contraption to convert his staff into a glider and glides into the sky. In the distance, he notices his bison and sees that Sokka and Katara are on it. They had come to rescue him, even though he didn't really need their help. He introduces the bison as Appa and himself as Aang. He tells them that the Fire Nation are planning something really big and has decided to stop them. Sokka and Katara also decide to join him in his journey. They first head to the nearby air temple. Aang was hoping to meet his fellow airbenders there and also introduce them to his new friends from the Water Tribe, but he finds nothing. but silence. When Sokka and Katara see that Aang doesn't even know about the war or can instantly recognize one of the extinct species of animals, lemur bat, they realize that Aang had been trapped in that sphere they found him for almost 100 years. Before they can confront him with this fact, Aang notices a large ground filled with the bones of the hundreds of airbenders and monks the Fire Nation had killed. They knew that the Avatar was going to be born in the Air Nation, so they had slaughtered everyone. Aang goes into a fit of rage and connects with the spirit world and even encounters the dragon spirit. Katara and Sokka are able to bring him back, but he is distraught at the fact that he couldn't save anyone despite being the Avatar. Elsewhere, General Zhao of the Fire Nation encounters Prince Zuko's ship and offers them lunch. This was only so that he could berate the prince and also offers us, the audience, some plot points. The prince was actually banished by his father, only to return back home once he had captured the infamous Avatar, infamous among the Fire Nations. Everyone knew this, but of course, since General Zhao was a bully, he liked to remind this to the prince every now and then. Elsewhere, Aang, Katara, and Sokka have reached one of the Earth Nation's villages where they encounter a group of Fire Nation soldiers trying to capture a little kid just because he could earthbend. The group of friends try to help the kid, but incompetent as they are, trap themselves instead. The Fire Nation soldiers take them to a prisoner's camp filled with earthbenders who had surrendered in hopes that those who could not bend could live peacefully. Despite their number being a lot more than the Fire Nation soldiers, they had been cowering in fear. Aang looks around the camp and delivers a speech. He tells them that they shouldn't fear the Fire Nation's machines because they had Earth all around the world. They were the most powerful benders of all, and so they couldn't lose. He shows them that he is the Avatar, and as the Fire Nation soldiers attack, the Earthbenders and Airbenders defend themselves and beat them away, finally freeing the village of their long tyranny. In the village, they find scrolls on bending earth, water, and the other elements as well. The Fire Nation had taken all equipment related to bending, but hadn't cared much about the scrolls. The friends take one special scroll on waterbending after being offered it as a gift. The villagers also had a statue of Aang from 2 lifetimes ago when he was Avatar Kyoshi. The villagers had never lost hope on the Avatar, and so Aang couldn't either. The group of friends decide to go around freeing other occupied villages as well. Aang tells them that he didn't really know any other bending than air, because he never really completed his training. The order of bending to learn would be water, earth, and finally fire. Sokka adds that the Northern Water Tribe has strong water benders, and he could learn bending there, and on their way they could stop by occupied villages to help out the oppressed people. The group does exactly that, spreading the news that the Avatar was back, and making their way to the Northern Water Tribe. The news of the Avatar's return reaches the Lord King Ozai of the Fire Nation. General Zhao gives him this news along with the good news that he has actually found the Great Library and raided it for ancient scrolls with important information about the spirits, mainly the ocean and moon spirits that protect the Northern Water Tribe. With these 2 spirits destroyed or controlled, they could finally beat the Northern Tribe's resilience and capture it. Ozai is impressed, but he also wants the so-called Avatar captured. Commander Zhao assures him the work will be done soon, as he had set up a trap. Somewhere in the Northern Earth Kingdom, Zuko and Iroh have also arrived in search of the Avatar. They come to know that Zuko had once defied his father's orders and saved his friends from making their lives sacrifice. He had been punished to a battle with his father, the king, who had always favored his daughter over him. Zuko didn't want to fight his father, so in anger, the father burned half of his face and banished him only to return after finding the Avatar. The same Avatar who had been lost for 100 years. Yeah, pretty sure his dad just wanted him gone. Elsewhere, Aang and Katara keep practicing waterbending from the scroll they had received. However, Aang cannot seem to concentrate. His mind is elsewhere. He tells Katara that the Northern Air Temple is nearby and wants to go there. He tells Katara that he will be back by the next day, and despite the siblings' protest, leaves that night. At the Air Temple, however, is the trap set by General Zhao, who captures Aang almost immediately without any resistance. As he is captured, Avatar is once again taken to the spirit world, and the dragon spirit warns him about the Fire Nation taking control of the scroll of the Great Library. He tells Aang to stop them. When he wakes up, he finds himself captured by General Zhao. He won't kill him obviously, but he will be trapped here for eternity. He has many questions for Aang but doesn't get answers. He doesn't mind though, as the Avatar is captured. The questions can be asked for a long time now. As the general leaves his prisoner to suffer, an unknown masked assailant enters the premises and manages to free the Avatar from the prison. The two of them battle the Firebenders head-on, and the assailant takes Aang as a hostage. Since the Fire Nation cannot afford the Avatar to die, as he would just be reborn again, they let the two escape. Just as they are leaving, Zhao orders an archer to shoot the assailant, and the arrow strikes him in the mask. He falls, and Aang notices that his savior was actually Prince Zuko. Before the soldiers arrive to capture them again, Aang escapes with Zuko on his glider. He abandons the passed-out prince in the forest nearby and leaves, hoping that if the circumstances were different, maybe they could have been friends. After this, the group of friends don't stop much and make their way quickly to the Northern Water Tribe ruled by the Princess Yao. On the other hand, General Zhao finds that the assailant was actually Zuko and plans an assassination of the prince. He believes that he has succeeded when an explosion takes place in the prince's ship. As the Avatar and his friends train at the Northern Water Tribe, General Zhao finally deciphers the scrolls and finds the location of the ocean and moon spirit. He takes along with him Iroh, who smuggles a well and alive Zuko onto the ship. In the Northern Water Tribe, Prince Yao and Sokka became pretty good friends, and even more than that. The princess reveals that she was born in deep sleep and would not wake, but the moon spirit had given her new life, and for that she was forever grateful. Some days later, the Fire Nation ships finally arrive at the Water Tribe's walls, and Aang decides that it's the best time for meditation and to ask help from the spirits. What a wimp! The princess takes him to a secluded location that is connected to the spirits and leaves him there along with Katara. Zuko, who had arrived there with the Fire Nation ships, also reaches the location in hopes of capturing the Avatar. He manages to subdue Katara easily and takes away Aang, who is too occupied with his meditation. In his dreams, Aang is told by the Dragon Spirit to use the power of the ocean to defeat the Fire Nation's warrior, and when he wakes up again, he finds himself captured by Zuko. The two end up battling once more, and Zuko proves the more skilled, which is until Katara arrives as backup and freezes the prince. Zhao and Iroh are then seen at the location of the moon and ocean spirits. The spirits had taken the form of fishes, which amused the general, but Iroh knows that it's to teach humans humility. Zhao doesn't care. He is a villain after all and proceeds to kill the moon spirit, despite Iroh warning him that it would result in the balance of the universe to collapse. Iroh gets so angry, and since he is a very powerful bender, he manages to scare away Zhao before he can kill the ocean spirit as well. The death of the moon spirit affects all the beings associated with it, including the Princess Yao, all the waterbenders, and Aang. Princess Yao decides that she must do something. Iroh tells her that nothing is ever truly lost. This makes the princess realize that she must give herself back to the moon spirit. This life was never hers to begin with, and now it must be returned. She and Sokka bid one last goodbye, and the princess steps into the pond, giving her life to save the moon spirit. With the moon spirit back, the waterbenders regain their strength, and Aang uses the whole ocean's water as a water-bending medium to create a great wall, blocking the Fire Nation ships from the city and pushing them away. Zuko and Iroh escape, and General Zhao is overwhelmed by a group of waterbenders. The battle for the Northern Water Tribe had been lost by the Fire Nation once again. The movie ends as we see that King Ozai orders his daughter and protege to find and kill the Avatar before he learns the other two elements. He knows that if this is done before the arrival of the Sozin's comet, the Fire Nation will be unstoppable. What do you think about this gripping movie? Tell us in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time!